we're all exposed to different chemicals. So you either have knowledge about the potential health impacts of those chemicals or you don't. And so we try to identify what exposures we should be most concerned about, and then to identify at what exposure levels can be problematic. My name is Kris Thayer, and I'm Director of EPA's Integrated Risk Information System, otherwise known as IRIS. The IRIS assessment products are assessments of how concerned we should be about certain chemicals, and the goal of those assessments is to protect public health, so that if there are problematic chemicals, then we can focus on those and find ways to reduce exposure. This whole process of doing assessments is hard. It's really hard, and it takes a long time. And over the past years, what's happened is that there's been a demand from stakeholders, from the public, from the users of our assessments to have more transparency in the assessments. And that entails a process called systematic review, which uses pre-specified methods to identify studies, to look at the quality of studies, to use structured processes so that you can articulate your expert judgments on how you synthesize across studies. So when I came on board, the expectation is that the IRIS assessments will now be fully compliant with systematic review and that we will be able to do them faster. So I specialize in a method that enhances the transparency of the assessments. I also specialize in methods that help make us be able to do those assessments faster by using sort of new computational tools. When a chemical is something that we're considering looking at, we would first try to identify the what. Why are we looking at this chemical? And we would go out for public feedback on the question that we're asking. After we have feedback on the what, which includes what kind of evidence we think is most relevant to address the question, we would also then seek feedback on the methods that we would use to undertake the assessment. Then we actually do the assessment. And then when we have an assessment, a draft assessment, we go out for another round of public comments. This then goes to an external peer review body where it's publicly reviewed. We take that feedback, we revise the assessment, and then we share it within the agency, and then it goes through a round of sort of interagency comment before it's finalized. The studies that we look at come from the published literature typically, so a lot of academic or industry conducted studies, which means you look across these individual studies and then you try to reach these conclusions about potential impacts on human health, and then we try to interpret those findings so that decision makers and policy makers know what to do with the technical information. And we try to put them in more of a database format when we do that, so that they're not only helpful for us, but then they can be used by others. The results of our assessments, because they're used in decision making, including regulatory decisions, the expectation is that they might be challenged. So the peer review has to be very rigorous so that nobody questions the conduct of the technical assessment itself. And that's what makes us unique. We've heard a lot, very vocally, from states, from communities, that IRIS is invaluable in the chemical assessment world. Having the IRIS assessments be firmly anchored in the technical side of EPA, what it does is it lets our assessments be honest broker. Here's the science, it is what it is. This is the whole reason why I got into the area that I'm in, is because I very much care about the mission of EPA.